What's up, guys? We're back with another video, and today we're talking about the anti-ICE protests, riots, and how they're getting out of hand really fast, and how these protesters should be treated. So first we'll start out with the story I laid out last time about Renee Good. So this set off kind of a firestorm of protests in Minneapolis and other places as well, but that's the main focus point of people burning ICE vehicles, stealing things out of their cars, going and attacking the officers themselves, doing the little like de-arrests that they've been taught to do in the ICE watch groups. And when ICE agents respond with like tear gas or any kind of force, it's the story like, oh my gosh, ICE kills this person or ICE hurts this person. It's like, okay, you're hurting them. I'm sorry, they're federal law enforcement. What do you expect? Like, no, it doesn't look pretty, but what do you want? Oh, guys, please, stop attacking us. Stand back. No, they're federal law enforcement. They've been trained for this. And they're probably upset, or at least annoyed, that they're trying to detain actual, like, illegal alien criminals and violent ones at that. And they have to deal with all these dumb protesters now. Trying to de-arrest and interfere. And these are federal crimes. These people don't realize that. And they're not going to realize until they're prosecuted like it's a federal crime. And maybe the most wild case yet is we see ex-CNN anchor Don Lemon join a group of protesters that go into a Baptist church in Minneapolis because they think the priest, or I guess the pastor, is with ICE. So they go into the church. They start doing all their little chants, yelling at the congregation. One lunatic was like, "You guys need to stand with your Somalian and Latino brothers and sisters. Do you think Jesus would stand up for this? You're little white guys with your cushy lives." No, I'm done. Lemon goes up to the pastor, and he's like, bro, do you stand up against ICE? Like, what are you doing here? And the pastor props to him, and he's like, you know what, we're here to worship Jesus. This is First Amendment. This is what we do. We're here to worship Jesus. I gotta take care of my people, my church family. And Lemon pretend to be a Christian. Just like, the thing that annoys me the most, when people pretend to be Christians, or they weaponize scripture to call out actual Christians for doing bad things. They're saying like, oh, you're not living like a Christian. So the one that gets weaponized so much is love your neighbor, right? Love your neighbor. Or they don't want to say is welcome a foreigner, right? Where they take something that Jesus said, yes, we are called to love others. But we're also called to do? Hate evil. And when we see like terrible things taking place in this country, no, we're not going to just like sit here and be like, I'm standing with our law enforcement taking care of violence in this country over the Somali fraudsters, for one, over the Venezuelan gang members, and anybody else who's committing terrible crimes in this country that's not supposed to be here in the first place. We can respect the dignity of these people, and it's not denying them human rights to put them back in their country. That's where they came from. If you're fleeing for a valid reason, you're fleeing because you want a better life, why are you trying to turn America into the country you left? Somalia especially, their country, it's really not even a country. It's devolved into complete lawlessness. The GDP is less than the fraud they're making up in Minnesota. And when we saw Nick, and I watched the whole Nick Shirley Part 2 video where they went to non-existent businesses. Some of them have been in place for, the longest one was 26 years. And any place they go to, and they ask a question like, hey, does this business exist? They're chased out, they're attacked, they're harassed, and thank goodness Shirley has security because that could have gone dangerous really fast. And it's like, why are you in America if you're trying to turn it into your country that you just left? It makes zero sense to me. And what Shirley also uncovered was that these people can travel with millions of dollars in their suitcases back to Somalia. And yet, kind of tough, like, we can't travel with some, like, toothpaste? What is happening here? We have come to a place in this country where, again, people are saying, like, love your neighbor, love your neighbor. They're weaponizing it And it's something Ali Bastaki talks about a lot. It's toxic empathy, where when you have to appease everybody at all times, you end up discriminating the most against white people and against Christians. That's what America is. It's a white Christian nation. Like, and yes, we are a diverse country, but now we should prioritize foreign interests over our own. And that's really what's happening here. That's kind of the broader issue of all of this. But let's come back to the original topic. So now, after this church raid by Lemon and these other left-wing activists, we also saw, as you'll see in the thumbnail, Jake Lang getting run into a corner by a violent mob. Like, it was a mob, yes. Not just peacefully protesting. Because Jake Lang was protesting Islam. He was going to burn a Quran. Okay, yes, say what you want. Maybe it's a little harsh. But then, the response to that, again, in a Christian country, that's what this America is, you have a mob of hundreds of people that back him into a corner. They try to tear him limb from limb. You see his legs like spread there on the thing. People are pulling his legs apart. Then they pull him into the ground. He's stabbed in the back of the head. He's bleeding. He does everything he can to get away, but he's just chased and chased till he finally gets in a car, which is then also hit and whacked. And we saw another person wearing an American hoodie, just a straight up American flag hoodie that said freedom on it. And what happened? Oh, take it off, you won't get hurt. And he's just chased and chased and chased. And it's like, guys, what are we doing? This displeasure you have with law enforcement has turned into a complete anti-patriotic, anti-Christian, anti-white, just hatred and complete use of violence against those groups of people. And it's like, why are we letting this happen? And the Trump DOJ needs to finally get serious and be like, okay, if you do this, yes, this is a crime. Yes, you are going to prison. You are getting arrested. The more we let these people continue to protest and continue to use their fake arguments of oh, it's just the First Amendment, it's just a peaceful protest, the more we let those arguments just sit and be you know what, it's fine. It's gonna happen more. It's gonna happen more. And think about what happens when these people get elected again. Because truth be told, these people might get elected again into power. That's what they want. It's not about the solidarity with the Hispanics. It's not about standing up for legal immigrants. It's not even about standing up for legal immigrants. This is about getting into power and hurting the people they hate. That's what it is. Until we start calling it like it is, until we stop excusing the violence that has taken place in this country. It's not violence against immigrants, I'll tell you that. It's not violence against immigrants. It's not violence against black people. It's not violence against Hispanics. It is violence against white Christians primarily. You have people just on a drive, on a walk. But they're white, so they look like ICE agents. Oh, let me go harass them. Let me call them a Nazi. Let me say, you don't belong to be here. I'm gonna tell you, you deserve to die. I'm gonna tell you. You have these tech bros eating lunch, and then you got a group of ICE protesters saying, "Oh, they look like ICE. They look like ICE. Let's bring our whistles and tell them you should die." No. What the heck? Matt Walsh pointed this out on the show today, and it's very spot on. So many of the things the lefts accuse us of doing as conservatives, they are doing themselves. They are using their language to excuse what they're doing. Because they know it sounds bad. When they pin conservatives for it, then it's all fine for them because the more power they have. How do you think Tim Walz and Jacob Frey got to power in Minnesota? What was the safest city a couple decades ago? Safest state a couple decades ago has now devolved into complete lawlessness under this administration. And they'll be like, ICE is going up to people's houses. They're taking them without papers, without documents. What are normal residents going up to doing to white people who supposedly look like ICE agents? They're saying, hey, prove to me you're not ICE. You better show this and this and this. You better show me your car. You better show me your ID. And it's like, hello? Since when did normal citizens become police officers? And since when are all white people ICE? I was talking to the pastor. They said, oh, well, you're with ICE? So you better just prove it on ice. You better just like prove it. And you better. One guy walking on the street. It's a normal white guy walking on the street. A guy comes up to him and is like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's ice. You better say F ice, say F ice." And then he would just continue walking. He's like, "You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi." I'm all sick of people who are saying, "Well, you can't let these leftists define all leftists. They're a small minority of us. Like, we're normal. Some of us are normal. Some of you are. Not a lot of you are. I hate to tell you, man. Like, it's just really sad to see. Like, I just want America to be American. That's my thing. Like, my thing is, I want to see America be America again. And how do you make it American again? You don't let Christian persecution take place. You don't let white persecution take place. And that should be a given. Obviously, it doesn't mean let other persecution take place. We can hold the like all lives matter stance here if you want. But the point is that the most persecuted groups right now in this country, actively, you see it every single day, are white people and the Christian people. So let's stop letting this violence happen and actually stand up. People are going to be attacked instead of excusing it and calling it peaceful. That's my thoughts for today, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, as always, and peace out.